news and notes.
All right. Ow. Alrighty, our news and notes this week is sponsored by Shortboxed, the easiest and safest way to buy and sell graded comics. You can download the Shortboxed app on iOS and Android and use our code OBP15 at checkout for $15 off your first order. That is OBP15 at checkout. Thank you so much, Shortbox. Aaron, what are you about to say? What are you surprised about?
I just got a notification like earlier today that somebody is selling a so if you like stuff, if you press the heart on the Shortbox app, and this is not a part of the commercial. I love the app. It's so
There's a genuine love from Aaron's side. Yeah.
So if you like a certain comic book and there's like somebody on it who's on the app who's selling it, they can send out an offer to everybody who likes it for like a discounted price if they want to move it faster. So somebody's selling a Predator versus Judge Dredd.
Oh,
like,
right up your alley.
Right up my alley. And I just remembered that I still haven't used OBP 15. So
$15 off.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's right. Well, so this week, Aaron, for our news and notes, we pretty much have one piece of news. It's just one piece of news, a small thing that happened this last weekend. No big deal. As a lot of people know by now, I was at San Diego Comic-Con last week, and I was actually sitting I know, right? A little, yeah. I'm pinky out over here, super fancy.
Peasants.
For all the peasants out there, I was in San Diego, no big deal. And right across the way from where I was set up and working the entire week, was Hall H. And everyone knows Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con is where they drop all the biggest trailers. And I'll tell you what, on Saturday evening, boy, oh boy, was Hall H just booming. And that's essentially what our news and notes is this week. Marvel Studios drops a bomb Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con 2022. So Marvel Studios absolutely won this year's San Diego Comic-Con by announcing new projects, setting a release date schedule going up to 2026, and naming our current era of the MCU films the Multiverse Saga. Aaron, who saw that coming? Who saw that name coming from around the corner? Once we saw Kang, we knew this was going to be, the main theme was going to be multiverse, right?
Yes.
I love whenever I set you up for a response. You're like, absolutely. Nothing else.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say A24.
Yeah.
Who else has done fucking multiverse? like it's the hot commodity, everybody's doing. It's so
Bill Ted
hot
did
right now.
multiverse, didn't they?
Yeah. It's so hot right now.
It's the hot thing. Well, tell the people about some of the trailers. Let's go ahead and set this up here. So what we'll essentially be talking about is some of the trailers they dropped on Saturday, and then also the release schedule of basically phase 5 and phase 6, excuse me. So go ahead and start us off here, Aaron.
I'm going to cover this because this includes my love. So Marvel Studios also revealed that Phase 4 of the MCU will end the release of She-Hulk Attorney at Law and Black Panther Wakanda Forever on Disney Plus and theaters respectively. That means the MCU is getting ready to pick up the pace for the next year, with all the pieces coming together right before, our normal final showdown.
That is kind of scary, right? Because we've talked about a lot here on the show how the MCU and its pace is starting to kind of, we're not tired of it, but some people might be, right? And if they're just now picking up the pace, we're going to be getting content on content on content. And that's a scary thought, right?
It's going to be hard to keep it straight. My only concern about this is entering the same kind of thing that I entered when I was getting really heavy into the CW shows.
Sure.
With the DC, because there were so many shows, you had the Flash, you had Green Arrow, you had was it the Legends of Tomorrow, which sucked. You had like all these different Supergirl, and they all started intertwining. You started having these multiversal,
there's again,
like, multi-Earth, wars raging, and it was really hard to know which episode was coming first.
Sure.
It was almost as confusing as Doctor Who, but let's get so the brand new trailer for She-Hulk Attorney at Law revealed a couple of new characters. One scene in the trailer shows Jen attending what appears to be a superhuman support group or retreat with two other attendees whose fans are theorizing might be El Aguila and Manbull. Created by David Cockrum and Mary Jo Duffy in 1979's Power Man and Iron Fist number 58, El Aguila is a Zorro-inspired anti-hero who operates as a swashbuckler. I kind of imagine him as like the Dread Pirate Roberts from Princess Bride.
Yes, absolutely. That's the same thing I was thinking too.
Yeah. So he also has the ability to generate up to 100,000 volts of electricity from his hands, which why be a pirate?
Why is that your creative choice? Like, you could be
Yeah.
so many things and you decide to be a pirate.
Meanwhile, Man-Bull was created by Jerry Conway and Gary Friedrich in 1971's Daredevil number 78 and accidentally became a man-bull hybrid after being exposed to an experimental serum.
Mhm.
Shocker.
Okay, cool.
So, She-Hulk is 9 episodes, host of MCU vets, including Mark Ruffalo, which is it Ruffalo or Ruffalo?
It's Ruffalo, yeah.
Ruffalo?
Uh-huh.
Ruffalo, okay. Professor Hulk, which we see the trailer of him and She-Hulk kind of working together to kind of get her identity under control. Um,
Can I ask you something really quick about that? Because I've heard this complaint. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. What are your thoughts about this kind of new interpretation, this kind of longer than it should be around stay of this Professor Hulk character? Like, are you wanting them to go back to this and the Incredible Hulk, or do you want them to kind of keep this progression of this Professor Hulk type?
I don't actually have any kind of problem with Professor Hulk, other than the fact that we really haven't seen him I'm gonna be
Do
honest
anything?
in yeah, in Endgame we really didn't see him let loose.
Right.
He was one of the main people that we did not really get to see throw down as he should. So I think that's kind of been the problem with Hulk the entire time. Other
Mhm.
than maybe a couple of fights like in, Ragnarok, we
Or
haven't really
Avengers,
seen the Hulk
the first one.
or Avengers. Yeah, haven't really seen him go all out. We
Mhm.
haven't had our Planet Hulk. We haven't had, our Maestro. We haven't seen really any of these bigger Hulk events. So I'm a little disappointed in what we've gotten so far. As far as the Professor Hulk topic, I don't have a problem with him sticking around until there is an opportunity for that to come to fruition, like a real battle where he's going to need the full brutality of
Mhm.
the Professor Hulk. I mean, not maybe of not Professor, but the Hulk. So that's where I'm looking at, and who knows if we're going to see that, but I feel like that's the only that I feel like that is the really the only way it can go at this point is for him to either like lose control or realize that he needs to let control go. I think that really only into today's society we kind of have to be aware that there's going to be this more progressive Hulk. You
This ain't
know,
your daddy's Hulk, everybody.
he's not your daddy's Hulk. He's not your Lou Ferrigno going crazy, flipping cars.
Well,
He's not your.
if you remember too,
Mhm,
in the end credit scene for Shang-Chi, his arm is in a sling and it's attached to
mhm,
this bracelet. We've talked about how that could be a nod to Amadeus Cho. And this apparently this end credit scene after Shang-Chi takes place after She-Hulk. So therefore, whatever happens in She-Hulk, something happens with Bruce where I mean, that's the common theory right now is that he loses control, becomes the normal Hulk again, and like he says, gets thrown into the trunk while the Hulk drives the car kind of thing. So
mhm.
that's kind of I think that's the assumption right now.
Yeah, I could see that because that's one thing that I've noticed, especially about the She-Hulk trailers. You see Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, who is in that container that we see Abomination and Wong
Mhm.
walk into through the sling ring portal, and so we do see Emil Blonsky like transform into the Abomination, which wasn't occurring last time. So maybe he's got some kind of control, or he's gotten better. So we're gonna see where this goes. And obviously Benedict Wong is returning as Wong. And then as we have seen in the most recent trailer, Charlie Cox is set to return as Daredevil. And don't give me the shit like we don't know whose Daredevil it is because all we see is his outfit.
Right.
We know that's Daredevil. We're not stupid, okay?
Right.
And rumors are that Kristen Ritter is going to be back as Jessica Jones, which, as Chris and I think we talked about this last episode, right?
Mhm.
Where Kristen Ritter, I mean, excuse me, Jessica Jones and She Hulk, they work together quite a bit.
They're like best friends in the comics. So yeah, I could
Yeah.
definitely see them at some point because again, she's a PI. Jennifer is an attorney, so therefore they're often probably working together, passing work to each other, having to deal with these C-list characters. And it sounds like that's going to be kind of the theme of this film, or not film. The theme of this series is that it's going to be Jennifer representing a lot of these C-list heroes and villains to either try to bring them back to the light or to help them get from under some things that they've done wrong. We even see Frogman in the trailer as well. Like that's been confirmed. That was kind of a rumor for a long time that Frogman might be in the series. We see him fly away at one point in the trailer. So I'm really excited about She-Hulk. I know people are kind of iffy about the CG and it doesn't look great in some areas, but I think overall this is going to be really fun. And I like the source material that they're basing this off of. Charles Soule Dan Slott run from the mid 2000s or late 2010s. I think those are two great runs of She-Hulk. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you do before you watch this, because I think the influence is very heavy. Not to mention, we see it in the trailer where Jennifer looks at the camera and kind of like
Yeah.
commentates on something that Bruce
Yeah.
says. She totally breaks the third wall, and that's what she does in the comics. In the John Byrne run in the 80s, she
Fourth
was
wall.
the one. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Yes, not the third wall. She goes over the third wall and spears into the fourth wall. Deadpool was not the first character to break the fourth wall. It was She-Hulk, and that's kind of funny. So I'm very excited about this. Are you excited about She-Hulk at all?
Mommy, sorry.
Mommy, sorry.
Mommy,
Okay.
sorry.
Yep. That's right. I forgot. Aaron is. I'm not. I don't want to kink shame here. I don't want to expose you, Aaron. But I think it's well noted now here on the Oblivion Bar that Aaron has a little bit of a snoo affection, and
Absolutely.
this is going to be
100%. One of my childhood crushes was Xena. So, yeah.
You want died like last men visit Amazonia?
What'd they die of?
Crushed pelvises.
Yes!
Oh, thank you, Lord in heaven.
He loves strong women. We'll kind of say that.
I do. I love him.
He loves strong women and breakfast foods, just like Ron Swanson. So, well, let's move on here. Let me ask you a question here, Aaron. How many times have you watched the Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer?
At least 3 times.
I've seen it at least 5 times since getting back from San Diego Comic-Con.
I'm watching it right now.
Aaron hasn't been paying attention. He's literally just been watching the Wakanda Forever trailer again. It might be the best MCU teaser ever, maybe. Like, that's hard to say with, movies like Endgame and Infinity War. Those were so incredible. Those teasers, we were all so highly anticipated for those. But man, this movie looks freaking incredible. So let's just talk about it here a little bit. Black Panther Wakanda Forever seemed to be in a precarious position, considering it was a sequel to one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's greatest home runs, and director Ryan Coogler was back to helm. It should have been the Coog is back. And this
Coog is back.
Should have been a surefire success. But of course,
Surefire.
they call that a Shuri
I'm
fire.
sorry. Stop.
Shuri was creating a lot of fire behind the scenes, but we won't get into that. Yeah. But of course, tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman. This has put the film franchise, as unimportant as that is in the larger picture, this has put the franchise, the Black Panther franchise, again, one of the most profitable corners of the MCU, into an awkward position. A film without an obvious lead. Chadwick Boseman carried this franchise on his shoulders in every aspect. Infinity War, Endgame, Black Panther. He's a presence. When he walks through that portal with Okoye and Shuri in Endgame, and it gives me chills just thinking about it. So obviously that stinks, but now Marvel Studios has made the smart move and has essentially confirmed that Boseman's character T'Challa will not be recast. That's the correct way, I think. Aaron, do you agree? Do you think that they should just move on? And
no, I think that they should not recast him. I think it's been widely stated, widely approved by fans, and I think that there are certain things that you just don't tread upon. And I think that Chadwick Boseman's memory is one of those things that you just don't you leave it intact, and
Absolutely.
it's not like it's not like it's like a basketball record where you have somebody's like highest scoring numbers up on some kind of board. No, this is not somebody's jersey you just reassign the number to. No, this is a character that somebody literally was the epitome of
Mhm.
strength and honor, and just you don't do that.
Right. Absolutely. And with that though, and I agree with you 100%, this now leaves Marvel Studios trying to fill that gap. What do you do now? So T'Challa's absence is very much centered in this trailer. That's kind of the beginning theme of this kind of grief, celebration, hope, kind of a hope feeling in this trailer. The first minute is basically wordless. It's just this song. And the trailer does not reveal which character will be taking up the mantle of Black Panther, but it does highlight the strength of T'Challa's family, friends, and allies who serve as a reminder just how powerful the supporting cast was in that first Black Panther movie. As Wakanda faces a conflict from Namor, the Submariner, I think it's Tenoch Huerta. Is that how you say that?
Mhm.
Tenoch Huerta?
Nice one.
Thank you. I know I
Nice one.
generally cannot pronounce things, but I
Wow.
surprise. Tenoch Huerta. There you go. I'll say
Oh.
it again for you. There were a number of worthy candidates who could become the next Black Panther, and we're still, we'll speculate here in just a moment, but that's been kind of the talk right now is who's going to take up that mantle. So, but before we get to that though, let's talk about Namor. In the comics, Namor is traditionally been the antagonist towards the surface world, especially when we pull or whenever the Earth, the surface dwellers, as he calls us, pollute his domain. Will sometimes align himself with the Avengers when a common enemy presents itself to, again, to the ocean at large. So Namor is the result of a relationship between a human father, Leonard Mackenzie, and Atlantean mother, Princess Fen. While Namor only embraces his Atlantean heritage, some of his subjects consider him an outsider. So very Aquaman-esque. And I know that's kind of a common theme. You're going to hear those comparisons. Namor is older by like 27 years. Like Namor
Hmm.
is that archetype, that half human, half Atlantean. Namor was the original. He's one of the first Marvel heroes in the Golden Age, not even Silver Age. It was Namor, the Human Torch, and Captain America. Those are like your first three Marvel characters. Before it was even Marvel, when it was timely, Namor was there at the beginning. So it seems that this depiction of the Atlanteans is being reimagined to have some kind of connection to the Mayan culture, which I personally think is a super cool creative decision. What do you think, Aaron? Are you enjoying that kind of reinterpretation? I know you're not like a diehard Namor, fan or anything, but do you think that's a cool creative decision?
I really do, actually. I love the idea. So if you look back and remember the what was it, Atlantis,
Mm-hmm.
the you remember
The
Atlantis, the
Disney
Disney movie?
animated. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So, in my opinion, that was it's the way they depicted the Atlantean culture was very much a mix of almost every culture on the earth, which is kind of like that's kind of the background of what everybody like has, some of the mythology behind it. It was that
Sure.
Atlantis was actually a kind of collaboration. It was where I want to say Alexander the Great had
Mm-hmm.
his like museum, which was like a collection of the most important artifacts and things from around the world that he had collected by kind of dominating the entire world. And his, along with Atlantis, his library sunk, and it was because of the search of knowledge and all this stuff. So it's very much an idea that El Dorado as well, which is kind of Aztecan, I think
Aztecian.
that's how you pronounce it, or say Aztecian based. So
Mm-hmm.
there's all this, like, you got Mayans, Aztecs, and like El Dorado, and how Wakanda was supposed to have been El Dorado. Like, so there's a lot of things
Sure.
that are kind of like swirling around in this idea of where the world kind of originated. And I think that the Aztec culture is such a really really cool and interesting way to pull an origin story like brand new for Namor, and the way that they bring this up, and I find so many small things in this trailer that just make it really really cool.
Attention to detail is amazing.
Yes, and like one is there's the scene of I want to say it was maybe like a minute and 30 into it, where there's just like this huge wave of water that kind of overtakes the throne room of Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like because we know that Namor is going to be attacking Wakanda, but there's also this scene where the queen is talking about my entire family is gone,
Yeah.
and so
She lost to Taka and T'Challa.
So this is like they're saying that because Shuri is one of the people who was blipped, that's actually a throw like a flashback to
Oh,
during
interesting.
the
Yeah.
blip.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see that she's gone, like her as the mother has gone through a lot, and we
Mhm.
really haven't checked back in with them at all in Wakanda since then. So there's gonna be a lot to unwrap in Wakanda that's emotional, not just because of Chadwick Boseman and because of her losing both her husband, but also we got to find out that impact of getting Shuri back,
Mhm.
and if she's even ready for what's to come, because I don't think it's her in the suit.
No, I don't think so either. Who do you think it is? Can I tell you mine? I know exactly who it is. Oh, at least I feel like I know exactly who it is.
Okay, I'm gonna say who I would like it to be,
Okay.
like, and then who like my guilty pleasure would be. So, do you remember who is the king, M'Baku? I think it was
Mhm.
M'Baku.
Yeah.
So
Of the
I'd like
Jabari
him,
tribe. Yeah.
of the Jabari. Yeah, silence, or I will let my children eat you.
We don't need people.
We don't eat people. We are vegetarians.
Yeah.
So I really like the idea of M'Baku potentially doing it, because you see him pretty heavily featured in some of the trailer pieces. He goes to war again for Wakanda, and I think that
Mhm.
might be an opportunity for him to take up the mantle of the Black Panther.
That scene where we see the gold suit, that feels a
Mhm.
little too not to say anything bad about I'm forgetting the actor's name now, but M'Baku in the film, he looks a little too big to be whoever that is, right?
Yeah, agreed. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't think it would be him. I mean, it could be Michael B. Jordan. It could be like all of a sudden,
That's a fun theory. Mhm.
Killmonger comes from another, multiverse. We're gonna. I mean, I don't.
I think it's Nakia.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's Nakia because I think again in the trailer we see that she is. Well, you know what? We don't see it explicitly, but it's heavily hinted that she was carrying T'Challa's kid throughout all of this. And I think once T'Challa passes and she has his son, I think, and she's known as like the quote unquote war dog of Wakanda. She's like the spy. So she has that in her. I don't think it's Okoye. I don't think it's Shuri. I think Shuri, people might look to Shuri to do it initially, but then the mantle passes on to Nakia. I think that's kind of my thought here. So, and also just to kind of mirror what you're saying here, the fun idea, if it was up to me, if I was in charge of this film, I would make it Killmonger. I would love to see a redemption of that character. He's already considered by many to be the best villain, quote unquote, antagonist, if you want to say that, of the MCU already. Grab yourself another Eric Killmonger from another universe. Bring him over. I think that'd be Michael B. Jordan could carry that franchise. I think that he has it in him, and I think that Killmonger was on the right path in certain aspects. He wanted what was best for his people. He was just slightly miscued in his morals and his ethics and the way he went about it. Find yourself a slightly better one and then bring him over. You know what I mean?
Well, and that could be a style of the arc of this film is the arc of his character as well, because you could definitely say that his sacrifice, and I'm gonna call it a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Killmonger's sacrifice in that film was so impactful on T'Challa and his family, that they realized that they do need to be more. I mean, they changed their entire way of life and started opening up to the world. So
Right.
the fact that if Killmonger for some reason, let's say he was not dead, or they brought him back, or something, they froze him like they did Bucky,
Yeah. The white wolf is
maybe
ready.
he'll wake up and be like, huh?
I said the white wolf has slept long enough.
Let's wake him up like a pot pie.
Yeah.
And and so yeah, like, I mean, they could do that. Maybe that's something. But yeah, I that's the one thing that I look at constantly when I look at this screen grab that I've seen of the
Mhm.
gold suit, and I'm trying to ascertain whether this is a feminine, like a smaller build, or it could be even just there. I mean, because there's larger feminine builds that have like tone and
I know
um
this is gonna sound silly, but the wrists kind of seem feminine. I know again that sounds so silly, but looking at it, it just feels like it could be a female hand there. You know what I mean?
that is not a female ass though.
Maybe
I'm
they're just not
sorry.
emphasizing it.
I'm sorry, but maybe this is not doing whose ever ass this is any justice. I'm just saying, male or female.
Look at that. Ooh, wee.
What?
You see that booty? I did not.
Oh, man. That's...
My eyes are on the road.
Okay, mine was on that booty.
Okay, so you're hearing it now. Aaron is gonna say, possibly M'Baku, possibly Eric Killmonger. I'm gonna say Nakia, and we'll check back in a couple months. This comes out in November, so it's not far away. But let's move on here. Let's move on to we got a brief look at Riri Williams. Riri is a teenage super genius who is discovered by Tony Stark and invited to be his protege after she invents an armored suit of her own. In Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Riri is being played by Dominique Thorne. She is seen enthusiastically greeting Shuri in Wakanda's tech workshop, in a scene that echoes T'Challa's visit to his little sister in the first Black Panther film. This is funny. So, as Obadiah Stane fumed in the first Iron Man film,
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
I love Jeff Bridges in that movie. I really want to see him back in some aspect. I know he's dead, but like someone, maybe like maybe in Armor Wars, maybe whoever, if he has any relatives, is the one that's going out and searching for Iron Man's tech. And maybe that's who's like trying to steal it all. And it's up to Riri and it's up to Rhodey to get all this stuff back.
Stain Jr.
That's right. Little Stain, as he's called.
Yeah.
A particularly tantalizing shot from the Wakanda Forever shows Riri building her Ironheart armor. So Riri will have her own Disney Plus series called Ironheart, and it will premiere on Disney Plus late 2023. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. So what I find most interesting about this trailer and basically is how quiet and restrained it is. Again, this is supposed to be one of the biggest MCU films of the entire year. And again, in the first minute and a half of the entire trailer, we don't hear any dialogue. It's just music and amazing cinematography. And then the mood is instead carried by the music. Like I said, a cover of No Woman, No Cry, originally by Bob Marley and the Wailers, here performed by Nigerian singer-songwriter Tems, which transitions halfway into Kendrick Lamar's Be All Right. It's just one of the best kind of mashups for one of the best teasers in the MCU history. One of the final shots shows a mural dedicated to T'Challa. The text of the art translates from Wakandian to "The King lives in the Panther and forever with us." That's where all the Dora Milaje are kind of like standing on a wall, and there's pillars, and you see the letters lit up. So like we said, Black Panther Wakanda Forever releases on November 11th, 2022. So Aaron, why don't you go over the upcoming release dates? Because that's the other big thing. Along with these two trailers, we got basically the entire slate of Phase 5 and Phase 6 going forward.
Okay, so we got Secret Invasion, and so starting off with Phase 5, Secret Invasion, Disney Plus, Spring 2023, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, May 5th, 2023, Echo, Disney Plus, Summer 2023, Loki Season 2, Disney Plus, Summer 2023, Blade, yes, November 3,
You're very excited
November
about that.
3rd, 2023, yes, Ironheart, Disney Plus, Fall 2023, and then Agatha, previously House. Okay.
Daffy
House
Duck.
of Harkness. House of Harkness. Jesus. I just, anyways, side quest. I just watched the game plan with The Rock, and he's allergic to cinnamon. So Agatha, Coven of Darkness, formerly House of Harkness. Oh, weird. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Disney Plus winter 2023. Then you got Captain America, The New World Order, May 3rd, 2024. Daredevil, Born Again, which we're getting 18 episodes of.
Oh my God.
Disney Plus, spring
We're
2024.
eating good,
and
Marvel fans.
Yes. And then the Thunderbolts, which I'm pumped for. Is that going to be a movie?
It's a movie.
So July 26th, 2024. And that's the end of Phase 5. Chris, take it away, because Phase 6 starts off with your favorite family.
Absolutely. Marvel's first family. So Phase 6 starts us off with Fantastic Four, November 8th, 2024. What's that?
It's a lot of F's.
That's a lot of F's.
Your favorite first family, the Fantastic Four.
And I'm freaking
fabulous.
Funked. So yeah, beginning of Phase 6, we got Fantastic Four, highly anticipated, finally back over at Marvel. And then, Aaron, everyone's been wondering, where are we heading? Where are we going with this multiverse saga? Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, July 25th, 2025. Man, oh man, we're going to see the culmination of everything leading up to this multiverse, Kang, all the versions of Kang that we're going to see. I guarantee we'll see at least 3 or 4 versions of Kang throughout all these films. Just super excited. You know what I'm missing here, actually? Ant-Man Quantumania. I don't have it on our list, but it's in here somewhere. That's where we'll actually see our first will you look that up for me, Aaron, just that way we don't forget that. That will be kind of our first big introduction outside of Loki season 1 of Kang. 2023. Okay. It's probably what, summer of 2023.
So Secret Invasion comes out in spring. I want to say it's early spring. It's
Well,
right there with Secret Invasion.
Okay. Yeah. I could see that. Well, so we don't have a summer 2023 film. That's why I'm curious. Because you've got
February
Guardians at the beginning.
17th, 2023.
Okay, cool. Hey, whatever. That'll work. And then after that, so
Something will get pushed back.
We've got Fantastic Four, Avengers Kang Dynasty, and then we've got the finale of this next iteration of the MCU, Avengers Secret Wars, November 7th, 2025. So we're getting 2 Avengers films in 2025, and that'll be the end of Phase 6 and the end of the multiverse saga. Oh boy. Does it feel like this era of MCU films has gone way quicker than the previous one? How long has it been? So 2008 to 2018, right? That was the Infinity Saga, right? So we're getting, was that so 2019 to 2025? Yeah, so we're short about, was that 4 years?
Yep.
But we're getting
four years faster.
Way more material though. That's the thing. Disney Plus, MCU, the amount of MCU films. Remember, we would only get 1 film, and then it was 2, and then at the end it was 3. Yeah, wild.
The bell's been rung. Ding, ding, ding.
Remember that pace picking up? Here it is. It's rearing its ugly face, or cute face. We'll see. We'll see if they can pull it off. And then we've got, I'm sure it's super dorbs. Both Avengers films will be helmed by Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton, which is super exciting because Shang-Chi was amazing. We're also too, so I feel like we're missing a Shang-Chi sequel in here somewhere too. Do you think that'll happen after Avengers? Oh, and the Marvels. We didn't talk about the Marvels. Sorry, guys. I really dropped the ball on this.
We'll see Shang-Chi in a lot of these, I believe.
Oh,
I
sure.
believe.
Yeah. I have no doubt that we could probably even see him in Captain America or maybe even the Thunderbolts. But yeah, so and then also in that we have the Marvels, which comes out in 2023 as well. So, man, overall thoughts, Aaron. Are you excited about this? Were you pumped to hear all this news?
I was more so just excited for trailers dropping left and right, even though we're still kind of getting trailers, like they're kind of sort of being released into the wild, like I don't know what, but just slowly. And it's a little, I'm just like, what's happening next? So I'm excited to see, because, it feels like we've already gotten a lot of information on like some of this stuff, but the stuff that's like sooner, we don't really have any information on. Like, sure. I mean, give us something on Quantumania. It's not that far away.
There was a trailer shown at Hall H.
There was.
Yes. I have seen clips, kind of very rough clips. I know at one point, this I apologize if this is a spoiler to anybody. We're spoiler friendly here. Yeah, we saw some MODOK action. We see at one point Scott's talking to someone off screen. He says, "Well, I'm an Avenger," and then the screen kind of pans up, and it's Kang in his full Kang the Conqueror suit, and he says, "Well, I'm a Conqueror," and it cuts to black. So that's something. We also saw a trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 at Hall H. That has not been leaked. I haven't seen any of that. So excited to see that. Adam Warlock, of course, is going to be in that. And then also they brought out Shai Watel Ejiofor as, who's he playing? The High Evolutionary? Because this film's supposed to be very centered around Rocket Raccoon and kind of his origins, how he became who he is. So, and obviously in the comics, the High Evolutionary is known for just experimenting on shit. He's just like, what can I put together? So interesting.
Yeah, we see a baby rocket apparently.
Yes, we do. I'm excited. I'm so excited for this entire slate. There's really not anything of these like films or series that I'm kind of like on. I want to see every single one of these. I think if I had to pick a favorite outside of the Avengers films, of course Fantastic Four is probably up there, but Guardians 3, man, you know how much I love the Guardians. That's going to be really tough to not get excited about. Guardians might be my most anticipated film of 2023. And then 2024, Captain America New World Order. Boy, oh boy, that's going to be fun too. So yeah, what about you? What's your most anticipated film of this entire slate outside of the Avengers films? Probably Blade, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with so probably like Quantumania. I'm super excited for, just because I really love the Ant-Man and the Wasp, like Scott Lang, and I love the whole thing behind like their kind of journey. I guess I'd call it journey. Definitely Blade, and then Thunderbolts also. It's I'm very primed for Thunderbolts. And I mean, you know me, I'm a Captain America fan like through and through. So to see, you know, Sam Wilson up there as Captain America doing his thing, I'm excited.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, that'll be it for our news and notes this week. Let's go ahead and get into our review of Nope. Super excited to talk about this film with Aaron here.
Nope.
Before we get there, though, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.